You know what? You will always find someone telling you, no, it's too late now to change, if not even yourself. But it is true that unless we are talking about great enterprises like, let's say, becoming prima ballerina at La Scala, for instance, it is true that it's never too late to change. Once I met the general counsel of a large corporation at a dinner, and we had a small chat about his practice that was IP maybe. He was very enthusiastic about it. He said because he was new to it. And so I asked him which was his previous practice, and he replied, "Oh, no, I wasn't a lawyer before. I've been a vet in the last 20 years. 2 years ago, I quitted my job in a top-tier law firm after being a lawyer in the private practice for almost 20 years. And I became general counsel of a public company. One day this opportunity arose and I just jumped at the chance without a second thought. I just gave myself the chance to change. But really, I don't know what I was thinking maybe. For non-insiders, this is not a big deal. A lawyer is a lawyer is a lawyer, as Gertrude Stein would say. But we all know that this is a radical change. Being an outside counsel is totally different from being an in-house lawyer. It is definitely another job. In fact, there are lots of prejudice about in-house lawyer. You may hear a lawyer in the private practice saying, "Oh well, in-house lawyers, they work very little, basically from 9 to 5. They know nothing. They want to do nothing. They just want to ask someone to advise them on everything. And that someone is their outside counsel." But also, there are lots of prejudice on outside counsels too. Outside counsels that make a fuss about all their definitions and whereas, just to make it complicated and obscure to enter billable hours in their timesheets with no added value. So I was forced to ask myself, are there any grounds for these ideas, or are they just cliché? Of course, it depends on who you deal with, as it is often the case. I can tell what happened to me. I moved from my protected environment, I would say, in a boutique law firm, to a company with 10,000 employees and very specialized technical areas. Most managers are older than me and have been working for the company in the last 20 years. They are super skilled, have great experience, and they work a lot and have a very strong commitment to the company. A commitment you do not usually see in a law firm. No offense, but in a law firm, it is hard to find such a strong commitment to the client unless you are a partner and so involved in the money-making process. For all the others, commitment easily turns into stress, a general sense of urgency that in the end generates hate for the client. I remember my first boss, she used to tell me, keep in mind that the client is your worst enemy. As an in-house lawyer, I needed my colleagues to overcome prejudice. So from day one, I started to listen a lot, to make a lot of questions and take a lot of notes to try to speak their language. This to create a general sense of trust, because when people understand, they can trust. It turned out that my diversity was a resource not only a barrier to break or an obstacle to overcome. And my experience proved me that both companies and law firms may benefit from such diversity and contamination. For instance, through a greater use of secondment. On one hand, young lawyers in secondment can learn how it is on the other side. They could get more familiar with clients, their complex procedures and their way of thinking, and they could possibly develop a commitment, if not real affection. This contamination may also promote a more sensible approach within the law firms. Relationships in the law firms are typically based on camaraderie, like in the army or in jail or in a medical drama. All happens always with a high level of stress, urgency, permanent end of the world approach. I remember my first boss, each time I was facing some obstacles, she used to say, act like your life depends on it. It is indeed a very effective approach that can lead though to high stress situations and even to burnouts in the long run. In a company, there is usually a culture marked by respect of the roles, codes of conduct, work-life balance. So young lawyers in secondment can bring back a different culture, can spread different ideas and values learned during their experience in a company. And this could possibly generate positive effects, importing the general idea of respect. On the other hand, also companies can benefit from having young outside counsels in secondment for a while. This contamination, I think, could spread a different approach throughout the office. Outside counsels may import a different vision of the work, less bureaucratic, more goal-oriented maybe. They may help their in-house colleagues to get more often out of their comfort zone. So it's a win-win situation, and it proves that at the end of the day, diversity and contamination can be a source of enrichment. This is also an invitation to overcome the fear of change, even when change is not something we decide, but something we are forced to. And in any case, if you had enough of being a lawyer and you love animals and you want to play it safe, you could always end up being a vet.